Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and wow, I am so excited about today's show. I got one of my great good friends that's going to be joining us today, and I tell you, this young man does so many great things in the communities that he is in and that he supports. Just a total 100% great guy. I didn't say good. I said great guy. That's got a heart of gold. I mean, and he's doing so many great things, and not just that, but in about 4 or 5 days, he will be the mayor. He will be the mayor of the great city of Temecula, which Michelle and I love so much, and we're just gonna just sit down and talk to this young man and just have a great time. So, but I can't do anything without my absolutely wonderful co-host and executive producer, Dr. Michelle Cooley. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. And you're right. He's doing great things within the community in the city of Temecula, California. And he's going to tell us about those things, about his beginnings, how he got to where he is today, and what is so special about Temecula, California. We already know, but he's going to tell us a little bit more.
You know what? This young man right here is it's kind of like a historic. His, he keeps everybody abreast of the inception of Temecula, past and now, where it has grown, and just an extraordinary guy. So, Michelle, I can't wait to get this thing started. But whichever platform that you're watching us on, whether it's E360 Television, Transverse TV, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, over 55 other live streaming platforms. Welcome to the show. And I want everybody to know if you got any questions once we start, all you have to do is just go to the comments and ask a great man any question that you might have. Michelle, can you please introduce the title of the show, purpose of the show, and introduce this absolutely fantastic guest?
Oh, most definitely. So, the title of today's show is a sit down with Temecula City Council member James Stewart. And we're going to talk about his road to entrepreneurship, the goals and missions of keeping the public informed regarding the city of Temecula, California. And we're going to talk about, his mentoring children, the things he has planned for the future. We're going to learn a little bit more about this gentleman today. So, James Stewart moved to Temecula in 1991 with his wife and 3 children from Oswego, Illinois. He opened his first Stu's barbershop in California in Marietta in 1991 and has opened 7 more since. He has attended Sunridge Community Church since 1993 and has been involved in many areas of service there. Rotary has been a very important aspect of James Stewart's life. As the mentor for Great Oaks High School Interact Club, his goal is to have kids think and do things outside of their world. The club raised over $2,000 for water filtration in Nepal and then made Christmas stockings for kids in Project Touch, which is a homeless outreach project. His tenure on the board of directors of Rancho California Water District was a valuable experience and has prepared him for dealing with infrastructure projects, labor contracts, and the budget process. He and his wonderful wife, Lisa, have been married for 38 years. They have raised 3 children and 7 grandchildren in Temecula. They live on the south end in town for 17 years and moved to Meadowview 11 years ago. He's seen a lot of change in the last 28 years and is looking forward to keeping the quality of life in Temecula at the highest level possible. But let him tell you about it. So please welcome to the show, James Stewart.
Hi. Well, thank you for that intro. Holy cow. And that bio, by the way, is 5 years old. So we've been married 43 years. And we've lived in Meadowview for 16 years. So yeah, no, it's been a beautiful ride here in Temecula for sure. So where do you want me to start?
Well, you know, my friend, I've been knowing you for a long time, ever since I moved to Temecula, and just was amazed with all of the great things that you are doing, that you continue to do. Actually, me and you teamed up, and we gave away a scholarship, the Stu Barber James Cooley Scholarship Award, where we blessed a few kids and help them out and going to college. And I just want to say that it's just so wonderful having a friend like you and and the things that you do. But Stu, why don't you tell our viewers and our listeners a little bit about you, where you grew up, and what makes you click?
So I grew up in a little town called Oswego, Illinois, which is about 40 miles straight west of Chicago. And so growing up in the mid 60s in school, I have dyslexia. So it was a real trouble for me to read. So, but back in that day, there really wasn't much attention to dyslexia. So I was just labeled a slow reader and, you know, basically to fend for myself. So, so I tended to gravitate to topics and things that would get me out of school. And so by the time I got into high school, my junior and senior year, I enrolled in barber school, which was offered as like an ROP class to get out and, you know, get some sort of trade going. And then I also enrolled in building trades, which also allowed me to leave school, anything to leave school. And so I left school to build 2 houses my junior, senior year. So I learned everything from electrical to plumbing to framing to roofing to, you know, anything it takes to build a house, I did it twice. And so, so when I graduated high school in 1978, I graduated barber school literally just 2 months later because I was doing it congruently with my high school time. And so I immediately went into the workforce at 18, cutting hair, met my wife at 18, and we dated for a couple of years, got married at 20, and then bought my first house 9 months after that. So I was still 20 when I bought my first house. And then we started having kids. So my daughter was about 6 months old when I opened the first Stu's Barbershop in 1983. So, and then in 1983, I became basically an entrepreneur, you'd say. I was born an entrepreneur, though. I mean, even as a kid, I was constantly looking for ways to make money. I was mowing grass, I was shoveling snow, anything that required some sort of a labor situation. I was all hands on deck because that was the way we did it back in the 60s. So, first barbershop, 1983, did that for 8 years, and then decided I needed to move my family to California. So why California? My uncle lived in San Bernardino. So when I was growing up as a kid, we would come across Route 66, which started in Chicago and came all the way to San Bernardino. It went literally right through San Bernardino. So that's literally where we traveled multiple times, and I loved California. So it was kind of like a moment at which that was a turning point. And I originally was going to put the barbershop in Escondido because I had a friend who had moved to Escondido, and she had worked for me in Illinois. So I thought, you know, perfect. You know, I'd have someone there that I could actually hire, and, you know, so, but long story short, we didn't find anything in Escondido we wanted to buy. And our friend said, hey, you should check out this new community called Temecula. And so this was 1991. And so the first major rush of transplants to Temecula was kind of over, and the recession was starting. So we found a house that had been sitting for 1.5 years, brand new, never been lived in, and we were able to buy that house. And that was on the south end of Temecula. We lived there for 17 years, and saw Pachanga go from basically a dirt lot When we first moved we went up Villa Eduardo, which is the road that borders our subdivision and the reservation. And the realtor says, "See that lot to the left? That's reservation land. It'll never be built on." And like literally 18 months later, they started putting trailers on for the casino. And but they've always been great neighbors. I didn't have a single issue with them being there the whole 17 years I was there, except for towards the end, traffic got to be a little mess. But that's the early years of the Stew. Any questions before I continue on with the story of Stew?
Well, no, we're gonna talk a little bit more about that, but we got 2 minutes before the break. And Stu, I always put everybody on the spot.
Yeah.
If you had to choose one word, one adjective to describe James Stewart, what would that be and why?
What would it be? I'm just the guy who cares, because I care about my community. I care about my city. I care about the people around me. And I think anybody who knows me, there's people out there who like to say things about me, but they don't know who I am. So, but those who know me I think would echo the same thing. So that's why.
I know you, and man, you always have been an absolutely fantastic, great friend of mine. And I tell you, we gotta take a station break, but we're gonna come back and we're gonna delve deep into this great man, and we're gonna reach out to where his heart is at, because he's doing so many things for the community and working with young folks and etc. So if you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is go to the platform that you're watching us on or listening to us on. Ask any questions that you might have. I promise you, we'll get you an answer. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
Really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, or hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? In everything that you do.
I've seen a smile convey I love you. I'm proud of who you are, the one that keeps us close when we're apart. Talking from the darkness of all that we've been through, it seems that there might be a way to leave behind the loneliness we've known and live again life of need.
Welcome back to James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I got my my great friend. I call him Stulu, but you all that don't understand what he knows what that means. You know, we got James Stewart, just incredible guy, doing so many great things. He loves the city that we live in. I still live there. I split time between Temecula and Texas. And Temecula is such a, I think it's the best kept secret in Southern California. I'm talking about all of Southern California because we got wonderful folks there. Everybody pretty much, it's probably about 140, 150,000 population. Stu, what would you say?
It's actually 110.
110.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the biggest little small town you go to.
And you mentioned about the casinos. I mean, we're talking about Pachanga right now.
Right.
How it did start out with vans, little vans, but now I think it's considered one of the biggest casinos in the United States of America.
Mm-hmm.
And it's continued to grow, and not just that, but we got so many other great things there. So can you tell our viewers and listeners a little bit about this absolutely fantastic city that we live in?
Wow, that's a big question. So, City of Temecula basically is a town of 110,000. Became a city in 1989. Sorry, 1989. But we actually became a town in 1859. So in 1859, Temecula began down on the very south end of town. We call it the Vale Ranch area. And there was an old adobe trading post that basically got a post office. And so the people traveling the Southern Immigrant Trail would get their mail from, they would just tell people, hey, post it to Temecula. And then when they travel through, they'd pick up their mail in Temecula. And so, and Temecula is actually a native word that the Pachanga people created for this whole valley. And I can't pronounce how it, but it's like Temecula or something like that. And so, so it got literally it's an Indian word that Temecula is named after. Anyways, so in 1989 we became a city to the development called Rancho California. So Rancho California was a development that was created by Kaiser Development, who bought 87,000 acres, which was the old Vale Ranch. And so they made a master plan community, which they called Rancho California. Now the city, the town of Temecula was always called Temecula. So that's where our Old Town district is. That's always been Temecula. But everything the other side of the freeway was called Rancho California. And so it really is a great thing for us as city fathers, you know, that Kaiser did that, because Kaiser basically chopped up the city into exactly what it looks like today, with large lot communities, with subdivisions communities, and even the higher density communities were all kind of like set out even back then. So that's why when you come to Temecula, it's so beautiful. I mean, literally you drive down the streets and we've got these, you know, gorgeous mature trees that were planted, you know, 4 decades ago. And so we have a very mature landscape community. The Old Town district is absolutely amazing. It's so I've been here since 1991, and when I moved here, Old Town Temecula was full of a bunch of antique stores and, you know, a couple of restaurants that, you know, were decent food, but there was really nothing to draw you there. And so in 2000, I think it was like 2006, 2005, they did a study. The city council at that time did a study to find out how they could revitalize Old Town Temecula. And so they were told that if they brought or constructed City Hall in Old Town, that it would bring a whole lot of new capital into the community. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. So they finished the old City Hall in 2010. And by 2012, 13, 14, 15, it kind of really started changing the profile of Old Town Temecula. If you go through it today, it looks like something out of a Hallmark movie. I mean, literally now at Christmas time, it's even more so. I mean, I posted some pictures just the other day on my Facebook page that I took at sunrise. And so the sky was amazing. I was picking up my cop car because I've got a 1963 Dodge 440 police car that I cruise around in. And so I just happened to be there just luckily right at the sunrise, and it was incredible. I mean, the shots.
I saw those pictures.
Yeah,
and,
it's amazing. So yeah.
You mentioned about your 1963. You got to take me for a little spin around there.
I'm here, baby. I mean, I take people on cruises all the time. You're more than welcome.
You know, hey, Stu, I moved there in 2009, and Michelle and I, we was relocating to California because my job, I was aerospace engineer for Lockheed Martin. They sent me to California to head up this program, and we looked initially in San Diego, La Jolla, all of those places down there, and we wasn't feeling it.
Yeah.
And someone said, "Hey, let me take you. This is a little bit out the way," which probably about an hour and 10 minutes, because we only had 2-lane highways at the time. Michelle and I went up there, and we looked around, and it was so beautiful. It was so wonderful. The house that I live in there, they showed us about 8-9 houses and kept the one that we are in now to the end.
Mm-hmm.
We went in the house, and we just fell in love. We felt, because first of all, we was already in love with Temecula, knowing that it could grow. And I believe that anybody that's looking to relocate to California, especially Southern California, Temecula, I don't think that they could find a better place. I mean, I'm just being real. Especially a lot of things that is going on that you can do, like festivals, wine tasting. I think we probably got about 55, 60 wineries now. Not just that, but I mean, we done took over. We are the new Napa Valley.
Well, and actually, we're a little better than Napa Valley because Napa Valley is so spread out. So if you want to go wine tasting in Napa Valley, you're going to one winery and you're getting in your car and driving, 10, 15 miles to get to the next one. In Temecula, you're driving basically about a quarter mile to get to the next one.
Well, you can walk to.
Yeah,
you can walk to about.
You can still walk, yeah.
So it's just that beautiful now. And Michelle, she loves California. We're in Texas right now, but come home every chance we get.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, we're gonna be there in January, and hopefully Lisa will be back during that time frame. We'll get a chance to hang out.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, hey, Stu, you do so many things. You do Rotary. You do all of these things. Why is it so important for our viewers and our listeners and the communities to understand these things? The Rotary Club, mentorship is so important in shaping the way for the next generation. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, it's funny because I was watching a newscast about the Secret Santa guy, who gives out $100 bills.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and the newscaster at the end said that money can't buy happiness. Anybody who says money can't buy happiness never gave it away. I thought that was brilliant. I thought, wow, that is such a cool statement. So that's why, because everybody who has a problem or a miserable life or something like that, you can almost trace it back to they're so inwardly focused they can't see anything but their problems. And once you start looking around and seeing other people's issues and problems and helping them with that, all of a sudden your problems seem a whole lot less important. And sometimes they even go away because you're not thinking about them anymore. Sometimes we self-inflict ourselves with these issues and these things that if we had more of an outward focus, that's why it's important for me, especially for that next generation. You know, these kids in high school. I was the Interact liaison for our Rotary Club for like 6 years, and that was a really great experience working with those kids, helping those kids to look outside of themselves and to start thinking about others and getting involved in projects. And, you know, my wife, she does mission trips all over the world, but Nepal is kind of like her main country. And so, so we got them involved in putting water filtration in Nepal. And then Project Touch is a local homeless, usually it's single moms with kids. And so they provide, you know, basically transitional housing for these single moms to get back on their feet, you know, and they work with them to try to, you know, give them job skills. So what we have done at my Rotary Club for the last probably 12 years is we get a bunch of toys and candy, and we put a gift card in there, and we provide these stockings for the kids who are in Project Touch. And I think it started out, we were making maybe 40 stockings. And the last couple of years, we made 90 this last year. So it just keeps going up, which is sad to think that there's that many kids who are in, you know, the Project Touch community because they have nowhere to go. So whose mothers are basically, you know, they'd be out on the street if Project Touch wasn't there for them. So those are the things that are super important to me too.
Those are great things. Project Touch. I mean, I love the leadership there. I love all the things that they're doing. Your Rotary Club, you have given me an opportunity to speak there several times, and especially your Interact, that Great Oaks, all that great things. It's so important that we shape and help formulate the mindset of our future leaders of tomorrow.
Yep.
And it starts when they're young, and it starts by teaching them that service is always before self. You know, and a lot of these kids, well, we call them kids now, but they grow up and they figure it out, and they're doing some great things. Stewart, we're going to take a station break, but we're going to come back. We're going to pick it up. This is an absolutely wonderful, fantastic conversation. If you want to be part of it, all you have to do, just go to the platform that you're watching us on. Ask any questions that you might have. And I promise you, we'll get you an answer. It's your life. And we'll see you shortly after the break. James J.C. Cooley from the United States of America, and I am here to just say, first of all, I'm so happy and honored to be honored to be in the Coffee Book 2023. Unified Brain Z and the other organizations, thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this collection. Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life, and my absolutely fantastic guest, also my great friend, James Stewart. We're talking about the beautiful city that we live in, and we also talking about life in general. That it's up to us to reach out to our youth, to contribute to our youth on formulating them, because they are going to be our future leaders of tomorrow. And it's so important to have that understanding of service before self. As a Rotarian, that's our motto. We serve others. We for the betterment of others. It doesn't matter whether you're black, white, pink, gold, or purple. It doesn't matter about any of that stuff. We all are contributors to the world that we live in. And we have to take that interest in everybody. And I tell you, this guest that I have on here, my friend, is the epitome of that. He is all about giving. He's all about helping. He's all about making sure that if we can keep a smile on everybody's face, we don't do it. So hey, Stu, first of all, before we get back into this, I want to thank our viewers and listeners. We just went over 32,000 subscribers on YouTube. And I'm looking at it and I see 1,200 people watching the show on YouTube right now. That's just one platform. And so I want to thank each and every last one of you all for tuning in to the James Cooley Show and showing your support. And we are always going to bring absolutely fantastic guests like the one that we have right here today. So, hey, Stu, you had mentioned about mission trips. I know your beautiful wife, Lisa, she travels all around the world. And just for anybody that don't know her, if you ever met her, if you just had a 5-minute conversation with her or 3-minute conversation, she brings so much joy just having that conversation, because she's beautiful in every aspect, and she cares. She cares about it. And so does this man right here. Stu, can you talk about some of the mission trips that you and Lisa done been on, and some of the accomplishments that you guys got out of that?
So I'll just tell you about my experiences with mission trips, because she does a lot more than I ever do. So I do maybe one every other year, and she does maybe 3 or 4 a year. So But I went on mission trips to Haiti. I was actually working as a dentist, and I pulled 22 teeth while I was in Haiti. And then a dentist taught me how to do it literally in 10 minutes. And then he set me off to do the jobs. And so, and then I did an eyeglass clinic in both Haiti and in Ecuador. I was on the Napo River, which is a tributary of the Amazon. And so that was an amazing trip. It was literally like a floating hotel that flowed up and down the Napo River. And so that was fascinating. I like to go, and usually every time I take a trip, I'm taking it with my wife. So I like to get, when she's going to a new country, I like to go on that trip just because I like to see the country she's going to too. So where she might go 3 or 4 or 5 more times to that same country, I like to see it. And so I've been to Nepal, and so I was actually scheduled to climb Mount Everest base camp, just to base camp. I wasn't going to climb Mount Everest, but I just wanted to go to base camp to see the hikers and see, you know, all the guys and gals who were going to try to attempt to summit. And so that trip never came off. Chinese government shut down Tibet while I was in Nepal. So I did the second highest bungee in the world, which was also quite awesome. And then I've been to Ethiopia. That was a fascinating trip too. That was, I don't know if we did eyeglass clinics, but the way they live in basically out in the bush in Ethiopia, it's like you've traveled back 1,000 years. I mean, the construction of the huts they live in, the way they, you know, corral their animals. I mean, it was incredibly fascinating. So I've been to Egypt. In fact, my wife is going to Egypt in January again. So yeah, I've been to every continent on this planet with the exception of Australia and Antarctica. Those are the only 2 I have not been. So I've been around a few places, yes.
You know, man, you got me when you said they taught you how to pull teeth in 10 minutes.
It literally was not that long. He showed me how to muscle the tooth out of someone's mouth, and it really is just brute strength trying to get, and technique. There's a technique to pulling a tooth that so yeah, I did it all.
And you know, was the anesthesia involved in that?
Yeah, so he did teach me how to do the Novocaine. But man, you really have to shove that needle deep into the gum. And it's like, I was a little too squeamish. So I told him, hey, you numb them up, I'll pull the teeth. You know, I didn't have a problem with pulling the teeth, but sticking that needle, shoving it up into somebody's gum so far. I tried it a couple of times, and each time it didn't work. So,
you know, that's so noble that when we go on mission trips and we do these things and we are providing services to the folks in these countries that do not normally have these type of services, and we're doing them good for a little temporary pain for a minute or so, get it out, they heal a couple of days, and that I believe turned their life and completely around without pain. You know, so you all been doing these things, mission trips. Do you have any mission trips? I know Lisa's going to be going in January. What is Stu? Stu?
My mission trip is mayor of Temecula for a year. That's going to be all consuming for the Stu for a bit. So,
and we're going to talk about that during the next segment. But yes. So Stu, some of the you do, just like I mentioned to our viewers and our listeners, You do so many great things. Can you tell our viewers and listeners the things that you do? What brings you joy? I mean, it ain't money, it ain't this, it ain't that. It's what brings a smile to your face when you know that you have reached out and touched a life that will change that life forever.
Wow, that's a good question. I do love working with the youth, especially getting them thinking differently about life, about their position here on this planet. And we all have our different experiences. I posted a quote on my Facebook page that I thought was absolutely brilliant. And I'll tell it to you here in a second. It is, there it is. Instead of thinking how hard your journey is, think how great your story will be. And it's like, that's kind of like, I think kids need to know that, life is a struggle. You're going to run into roadblocks. You're going to run into things that you think is going to, you want to end your life. But in the end, it's like when you overcome it, it's an incredible story to tell. And so, I've got so many stories I could tell, but you don't have enough time. But even just my brain surgery a year ago, when I had that trigeminal neuralgia, it was like that pain was so severe that the thought of ending my life felt like a good way out, to be honest with you. And so, but since the brain surgery, I've been, basically relatively free of pain, except for my right side of my face is still numb, like a Novocaine shot that a dentist would give you. So half my tongue is numb. I can't feel anything on the right side of my tongue. But there's just so many bumps and bruises and things that are going to happen to people. And it's just, you just want to encourage them to just
keep going. And last year, you scared me. You remember us having this conversation about the day before you went in.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my God. But guess what? Perseverance.
Yeah.
You believed. And you are absolutely fantastic today. We're going to take a station break. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about the next mayor of Temecula. And so if you want to be part of the conversation, all you do is go to the platform that you're watching this on. I promise you, we'll get you an answer. Yes, your life. We'll see you shortly after the break.
I never wanna leave. Yeah, I'm right where I wanna be. We got something you and me, and I can't get rid of this feeling. Just like a magnet, we're just like a magnet. The things we have can't be taken for granted. Now I know that it has always been you. I can't help it, I'm so drawn to you. Just like a magnet, we're just like a magnet. The things we have can't be taken for granted. Now I
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I'm just having so much fun with my great friend here, James Stewart, and we getting ready to talk about change. Not, I mean, change is inevitable, but it's necessary in certain realms. I don't think we change a whole lot in Temecula because it's perfect, in my opinion. We don't have to change a whole lot there. But we also, I say, infuse new ideas, new philosophies, just things that's going to make it even better. Even if you don't have a problem, you still want it to be better. And I believe that next week, well, real soon, January, that the next mayor, the mayor that's right there now, is doing an absolutely wonderful job. My friend, is what this mayor that's going to come in, it's just going to enhance it a little bit more because he will be able to take inputs from the rest of the city council members and the communities and continue to grow. So, Stu, can you tell our viewers and listeners what it's like and what's going through your mind that in January, I think January 9th, that the torch will be passed down to you. And I know that you got all these ideas, you got all these great things to help make it even better than what our great friend right now is doing. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, I mean, for Temecula, because we are a relatively new city. I mean, when it comes to, we've been a city for 34 years now. So there's a lot of infrastructure projects and revisioning of what Temecula is going to look like in the future. And so this next year is, we're right in the middle of a freeway project. The 15 freeway is being expanded to basically take all the traffic off at Winchester to prevent the crossover traffic that's happening now that creates the backup through Temecula. And it's a bit of a nightmare. If you work in San Diego and have to commute, it's not a very fun commute. So that's a project that we're looking forward to keeping on track and keeping it moving forward. And so, the cities don't control the freeways. I mean, the freeways belong to both the state and the federal highways. So, but the city of Temecula took the initiative to say, we got to fix this problem and we got to fix it now. We can't wait for the state to come up with a plan because they just weren't. And so we basically saw the problem, created a solution, found the money, and then handed the project to Caltrans to say, it's all done. All you got to do is say, go for it. And they did, because we had done another project. The city of Temecula did the 79 interchange project, and they were so impressed that it came in on time and under budget that they felt very confident that we could do the same with this $138 million freeway project. So that's a major, going to be a major thing this next year, is getting that project finished and getting the freeway moving smoothly through Temecula again. And just a lot of infrastructure projects around town. Is, the Overland Bridge, that's probably not going to happen next year, but early 25, which again will allow people to get from our industrial facilities over on the other side of the freeway to get back over to the residentials. So that's kind of like a thing of mine, is I'm trying to work with our business development company, our people within our city, to try to bring more livable wage jobs to Temecula. And so we can get these people off the freeway and just commuting basically across bridges here in Temecula versus hopping on a freeway and heading south to San Diego to get to the higher paying jobs so they can live in Temecula. So if we can create more higher paid jobs here, we can lessen the impact on the freeway. You know, unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever city you're looking at, it's we have a lot of cities around us that are growing like leaps and bounds, and so most of that traffic, I heard a number, is like 78% of the traffic on the freeway goes right by Temecula. It doesn't even stop in Temecula. So that's a major issue for us, you know, because now we've got to figure a way to get them through Temecula so we can actually have a quality of life here. So because Temecula is pretty well landlocked. We're literally on our last major subdivision is being built out right now, Summers Bend, and we have one more track. It's going to be smaller, more condensed home product over behind Old Town, and then that's it. We're done. We have no more land to expand into. So both of those.
Speaking of that,
yeah.
what is the council doing to potentially procure some more land with the surrounding cities? Is that being talked about?
No. So basically, we have a sphere of influence that goes out into the French Valley area, about another 5 miles or so, and really it's a burden to the city to take on homes. Homes don't pay the bills, basically. So all cities run on sales tax revenue. So if you don't have the sales tax revenue to generate the income necessary to fire protect, police protect, and maintain the infrastructure, you don't want to take on rooftops. So that's the bottom line until French Valley were developed out to a point to where there's enough sales tax revenue to basically justify it and not put a burden on the people who already live in Temecula. That's the other.
Don't want to put a burden on. We down to the last minute or so.
Yeah.
Can you provide our viewers and our listeners 3 takeaways that they should have gotten from this absolutely fantastic discussion?
I would say Temecula is truly a unique place. I mean, it is every Hallmark movie you ever saw. This is Temecula. And so it's really, even if you just come to visit, everybody who comes to visit me or anybody else I know, everybody says the same thing. Wow, this is incredible. You know, the wine country, the Old Town District, it's just absolutely beautiful. And, you know, and I would say, you know, let's feed into our youth the right things. Let's give them the tools necessary to survive in life and not really necessarily push back on life. I mean, it's like riding a wave. You don't swim into a wave to try to beat through it. You try to catch that wave so you can ride it and ride it with style. And that's what I think.
We got to catch that wave and ride it.
Exactly.
And Stu, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come on the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life. I got to have you back again. I get you back once you. I know you're preparing for the gavel, and that's going to happen real soon. And if you have time, once you get that, I would love to have you back on. I'd like to thank Dr. Michelle Cooley for putting together another absolutely fantastic show. Most importantly, I'd like to thank our viewers, our listeners for tuning into the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life. Always remember to dream big, think big, and be big at everything that you do. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. It's Your Life.